So this morning, that was kind of fun.
Sure.
Kind of look forward to doing that with other stuff.
Yep.
So this morning, Mitch and I included the T&T rod sort of tour of lines and applications and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think we agreed on most of the stuff.
Yep, I think so. Yeah.
So the first two rods that we were casting, you weren't there for the third one, but the first of the two rods was the Sextant. And I think some of the stuff we were talking about, now that we've got it in here and can be a little more focused on it, one of the big differences, I would say cosmetically but has a function change too, is the grip.
Yeah, hook size.
Yeah. It is considerably different. It doesn't necessarily look it, and you're probably not going to see that per se right off the bat. But when you hold it in your hand, it is a different grip.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the first one. It also coincides with the Exocett being 4 inches shorter, right? Which the whole purpose of that is to be a little bit more of a cannon. And that's what we felt. And watching your cast, your loops you throw a tight loop anyway, but your loops at distance were retained a little bit better on that Exocett a lot of times, I felt.
Yep.
How do you feel?
I'd agree. Yeah.
Definitely a quicker rod. More tip flex than mid flex.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell, I mean, even it didn't, I mean, obviously it changed a bit depending on the line we were throwing, but you could tell when we were talking about it while we were out there, like, you could feel it at certain distances, as it was kind of slowly loading a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those kind of shorter, like, 25 to 40 foot distances, it almost felt all tippy.
Yeah, I honestly believe that's how they designed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They call it a streamer rod, and that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to just want to be able to quick shot streamers right in the spot, right? So this is the 250, and what I thought was funny is when we were getting ready, you said, "Oh, I don't know if this line's going to feel good on this."
Yeah,
it was all right.
Yeah, because when we have just the Mastery Titan.
Yeah, you didn't think it was going to be heavy enough to load it.
Just based on the
six weight.
Yeah, 6-weight Mastery Titan on the 250. So I mean, and that was just quick kind of first glance, just knowing the grain weight of the Titan and that weight, and then what it's asking for on the rod.
How the rod's labeled.
So if you were just kind of looking at boxes and numbers and trying to match that up, probably you wouldn't have put that on.
Absolutely not. You would have gone for 7 or 8 weight, maybe even.
Yep.
Even though the box says it's 2 line sizes heavy.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Probably would have gone for a 7, and then you're thinking, I'm going to be streamer efficient, so maybe I overline it a little bit, but
right.
That probably would have not been great. Now, we didn't try that yet.
No, and in fairness, yes, we probably should go throw everything from a 5 weight, Titan.
Yep.
To a 7, just to feel how it feels. But I try not to get too into the weeds on all of that. I think that I bought the 250 originally because that was going to be my 6-weight Puget Sound rod. And as it turned out, at the time, the line I was using a lot was the Airflow cold salt water, which bottoms out at the 7-weight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's a pretty heavy line, also pretty aggressive taper for not a shooting head, but also not infinity-esque. Like, it doesn't have an elongated head either. It's got taper on both sides, but it's heavy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I love it on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you put those on the Sextant, and the game changes pretty rapidly.
Yeah, it does. It's a different feel.
So we started with the cold salt water on the Sextant, and I feel like it changes the Sextant pretty quickly into a mid-flex rod.
I'd agree with that.
Which for some people is great, and that's one of those things that for us in the store is really hard, because when we talk to people, we don't necessarily always get to see their cast. We can talk about what they're doing with it and what rod a line is going on, or what rod they're matching to a line, but we don't necessarily get to see their casting string.
Yeah. Totally.
So and for us, and I'm speaking for myself maybe, but it's nice for me to better understand how the lines really feel on each of these rods and how hard you can push them or how much you can back off of them. and still have them perform at that average distance that we're getting for people using these rods, somewhere in the, I hope 30 to 50 foot range. Right? What did you like about each one of them, or not like about each one of them?
Like and dislike. It's interesting. I don't even know if I would classify it as that. It's just a different feel. I think what you just said is totally right. Like that cold salt water on there, you really do feel it flexing in the midsection, which, I like that on a rod. I like to feel all the way through what it's doing, and I like to kind of tailor my request to that. And I think it was definitely a little more tippy on the Exocett. So some of that could be a little preference, but they both launched it.
Sure.
It felt great on both, just in different ways. So I think that's more of a preference thing to talk to people about. Do you like to feel it all the way through? And kind of what we were talking about with the different corks is, I think with this smaller cork on the Sextant, it exemplifies that a little bit more, and you do feel it in your hand a little bit deeper. And I think with the Exocett being a little tippier with that line on it, you feel it less. So if you're someone that kind of likes that feeling,
needs to have that
feeling to know, when to go from point A to point B. I think that could be a deal breaker for sure.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
So the thing I was just thinking about as you talked about the grip on the Sextant being smaller, obviously gets you closer to the graphite, so you're going to feel it, which is why cigar grip versus wells is a lot of times what people like, especially on more full flexing rods. The composite cork on the top of here, I believe it's a denser material, so that also numbs the sensation in the rod just a little bit.
Makes sense.
For better or for worse, like I think I was talking about it, if you can get to where you trust what the rod is doing when you make a cast and not try to like overmanage it, overcast it, push it past where it needs to be stopped for the stroke. I love what the Exocett does even at short distance. Like even if we're casting here to John, I can just stop that rod and have a real short stroke at 20 feet, and it just throws a little laser beam right at it. Like accuracy, unbelievable. Love it. Not that this doesn't do it, but because of the lines we were throwing, this actually has more feel to the load, and that short and sharp little stroke that you can get away with here has to be a little bit smoother and elongated in order to still get accuracy and tight loop without tailing or blowing the whole thing out.
Absolutely.
What was the other thing I was going to ask about or mention to you? The lines. So the Infinity was the other one that we were throwing.
Yep.
I really liked the Infinity on both. How about you?
Yeah, I did. I liked it on both. I did like it a little better on the Sextant, but that's more of the overall generalization of the two. Just saying I liked it better on that. I think the shorter distance casting with the Infinity, just because it's a lighter line on the Exocett, I think once you get to a certain distance, it feels awesome.
Right.
I think that first 20, 25 feet, it does feel a little light
on the
Exocett. Yeah. But once you get just beyond that, it's awesome. It's you're right. It throws such a nice loop and it turns over every time, which is great. I think when we're fishing out in the Sound, we were talking about this out there. Like when you strip it back in, you're picking it up at 6 to 10 feet or so. And I think those first couple casts feel a little light just because the head on the Infinity is so long.
Right.
It's somewhere like the 50-foot range. So it's meant to carry a longer line. I think those first couple feel a little light when you're kind of working it out. But once you get, 30 feet, it's great.
Right. You could feel it, no problem.
Yeah. So I think on those first couple false casts you do on the Sextant, you can feel it a little better. Maybe that just makes me feel better myself when I'm casting. I feel like I got control over it. But at the end of the day, the cast itself, once you kind of get into it, pretty similar. It felt pretty similar in the two.
No, I thought so too.
I think the heavier lines accentuate the differences between the rods a little bit.
Hands down. Yeah, for sure. I think I just wanted to focus on that SA Infinity for a second because I maybe have not always been a real component of that line because I haven't spent enough time on maybe the right rods and the right condition using it. But when we were out there today, one of the things I really liked is because it does have that really long progressive taper out the back end. Regardless of where your casting proficiency is, you're going to find a place where you can actually feel the rod ready to load and launch for you without it being dictated to you by the head length.
Yeah.
Like on the other 3 lines.
Totally.
Which to me is a really user-friendly attribute to that line. So overall, I think that for me, all 4 lines were great on here. Titan Long versus the Mastery Titan. There was definitely some differences on both rods there.
Yeah.
You were totally correct in putting that long on there. Gave us a little bit more sensation, feel, and line control at a little longer length than we did with the shooting head in the Titan.
Yeah, definitely more control with that. The front taper on the line. On the long is, I mean, it gives you a lot more loop control. And I think when you're working with aggressive lines like that, they can be a little temperamental. If you're pushing them too hard, they'll show you that you did so. And I think the long was a little bit more forgiving on that. We caught our loop a couple times on the Mastery when we were on the Sextant.
Yep.
And I think when we put the long on it, it was like, oh, no question.
Yeah, that's way better.
I would pick that over every time.
Yeah, I mean, this did exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to better understand what lines we were telling people to put on what rods. And as we go through this with all the other brands that we're going to do this with, which is going to be a bunch, it's going to be really fun to see where we land with everything. And at some point, I'd like to actually have us have a staff's favorite line on each of the different rods for different applications.
Yep, that'd be fun.
So that's what we're working towards. Awesome. Thanks for doing that this morning, bud.
Sure.